So it's that time of year where the new Madden drops, and this year's release has been marked by controversy coming from the Fix Madden franchise movement started by our boy Ryan Moody. And what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to show you how, even compared to other modern sports titles, Madden 21's franchise mode does not compare. And it's just mind-blowing to me because imagine that you had another smartphone competitor out there with Apple and Samsung, and they're releasing their own smartphone, yet their smartphone doesn't have a front camera, a feature that is unstable in their competitors. That's Madden. Madden doesn't have a competent franchise mode. They don't have many features that other sports titles, even EA sports titles, have. And don't even tell me about Ultimate Team, because these titles, and when I'm going to go over 2K, MLB The Show, and NHL, they all have their own form of Ultimate Team, yet their franchise modes pack so much more detail and depth to it. And I don't get it. No one's asking for EA to do something revolutionary or groundbreaking. We're literally saying, can you at least be on the level of what your competitors offer? So let's go ahead and start off with NBA 2K20. Now, the first thing you're going to notice with 2K20, you have a full page where you can look at team history, league history. You can go back and look at reward winners, what your team has done, team records, or whatnot. And the thing is, 2K catches a lot of flack for the My Park and the My Team monetization, but at the very least, they provide a quality, in-depth franchise experience. We're going to go ahead and get into the scouting here, and as you see, you'll notice that every prospect has a different ranking from a different source, just like in real life. When you go and read the scouting reports, these reports are just so detailed. They give you NBA comparisons. You get to see their strengths and weaknesses and really strategize on how you want to build your team. This is what simulation feels like. Not pressing 3 buttons and getting a scouting grade on a player and finding out where he is. And the scouting system should be this detailed for any sports game that claims to be a simulation. Because it doesn't matter the sport, scouting is a big part of how any organization is run. It's how they build their future. 2K also aids with this with the inclusion of advanced stats, such as per and true shooting percentage. These are stats and metrics that GMs across the NBA use to make roster decisions. Meanwhile, on Madden, for most positions such as defensive line, offensive line, secondary, you can't get any type of in-depth stats that helps you make decisions. I don't know, maybe they can incorporate some type of pro football focus system on Madden. But we're going to go ahead and transition into MLB The Show 20, a sports title that's been held in very high acclaim over the years and gets slept on kind of because it's only a PS4 exclusive. I'm going to start with a very simple flex. I'm on the player card right there, and if you notice, when you go over to the statistics column, you can see what team this guy played on. Mind you, this is a guy that played back in the 20s and 30s, yet I can find out what team he played on. On the other hand, Madden can't offer that. They can't tell you what team someone used to play on in the stat column. But hey, MLB The Show can. I wonder what their scouting system looks like. So, you'll see here, I have 4 different scouts that I can assign to find players for me. On the actual prospect cards, I can get a projection for all of the players' ratings. So not only what their current rating is, but what their rating is projected to be in the future. Again, that's the crux of what scouting is making future projections and predictions. Not only that, but I can see when they're estimated to make it up to the majors. You know, some players might only take 2 years, some players might be a 5-year project. Wouldn't it be great to get that out of Madden? So when you're looking at quarterbacks, it would tell you whether the quarterback's projected to be a project quarterback or is he ready to start day 1. Again, EA, the ideas are right here in front of you. All you have to do is literally look at what other games in the industry are doing. And there is more, EA, a little something called a coaching staff, which MLB The Show represents. You see that I have a manager, a pitching coach, a hitting coach, all they have their own attributes which affect the team. Again, this is what immersion looks like. You can't accurately simulate a sport and then act like the only coach that a team has is the head coach. That just doesn't make sense, and it's really sad because older Maddens also had this feature. You can easily just use computer-generated coordinators. We would be fine with it. Now here's a feature that's somewhat exclusive to MLB The Show. You can look at the history of your roster and see how was every player on your roster acquired, whether it be through trade, draft, or free agency. And this is a good way of looking back on how you built your team and just being able to admire just like MLB The Show and 2K, the coaching staff is full with the head coach, assistant coaches, in case of hockey, goalie coach, all with their own overalls, which impact the players in different ways. I don't understand it, but because this is an EA Sports title, so this is literally in company. But I mean, there was a time period where NCAA football was better than Madden, and that, in fact, many would probably say NCAA football was always better than Madden. It just makes no sense that they wouldn't carry over some of the features that their other sports titles have over into Madden. It looks like NHL also has a detailed scouting system. I have individual scouts that I can hire with their own rating, which impacts how effective their scouting is. Along with that, there's a feature called Fog of War, which is why you notice that some of my scouts are set to scout different divisions. So that pretty much impacts how my ratings on another team's players will be. I won't always see the same ratings that they see. And that's very realistic, because you gotta realize that, again, every front office, every scouting department for every different team is going to look at certain players differently. They're going to rate some players higher than others or whatnot. The reasoning, who knows? Some teams just value different attributes. As we get into the individual prospect scouting, you'll see here I have a whole category for their potential. You have the central scouting rank. You have different rankings, just like in 2K or whatnot. When we go to the individual reports, it gives me strengths and weaknesses. Look at all this detail coming from an EA Sports title. It even tells me effectively what type of scheme that they fit in. And honestly, as someone, I love hockey a lot, I honestly don't know the X's and O's of the sport. This helps teaches you the X's and O's somewhat. It helps you understand how teams operate. This is what a simulation should be. Now, just like MLB The Show and NBA 2K, there is an option to put legends into the free agent pool and use them in franchise mode. Now, let's compare that to Madden, where you're only allowed to use them in Play Now game or behind a paywall of Ultimate Team. This is probably for monetization, even though NHL has their own form of Ultimate Team, yet it still offers them. And here's your Creative Team feature. This has been on NHL since at least the PS2 eras. I'm not too sure about in between there, but I know it was on NHL 17 when I started regularly purchasing this game. And as you see, this is very detailed, almost to the level of 2K's. The only thing it doesn't have that 2K has is that it doesn't have the feature where you can download images from the internet. Still, you see, I can customize the logo for my team, the arena. I can give my team their own mascot. You can even mess with the goal horn. You can choose your own goal horn. You can customize one. You can give your team its own entrance into the arena. It's sad to say, because I know many of you out there aren't into hockey, but why is it that NFL fans can't get the same type of immersion experience? Why do we get the bare minimum from EA? Now, if you look here, you'll see that you could choose from over hundreds of logos. Unlike in Madden, how when you relocate, they force you into certain logos. This game gives you the full flexibility and creativity. Because even Madden 21, I did hear that they put create a team on Ultimate Team, but it's not at this level of freedom. And for the record, I'm not saying that this game is perfect to any degree. I'm not saying that any of these games are perfect. What I'm saying is that despite their flaws and despite the fact they have monetization as well, they can at least provide a quality franchise experience. Just let 2K make the simulation game, EA. You seem to be more interested in getting the casual audience, which is fine. I don't blame you. But don't sit on the simulation license and give us the bare minimum. Don't tell us that you're dedicated to franchise mode, but the only new features that you can be bothered to add is basic tune-ups and adding an extra team to the wild card weekend, which was a rule change you had to put in anyways. We are not asking for anything that's impossible. As I've shown in this video, all the modern sports titles can provide these features. Previous Maddens have been able to provide these features. But I thank all of you for checking out my channel. Please like and subscribe. I will definitely be coming up with some more fixed Madden content.